Hello, my name is FrankieF23, and today I'll be speaking about Joash and role models. Please turn with me to 2 Chronicles 24:2. Joash did what was pleasing in the Lord's sight throughout the lifetime of Jehoiada the priest. Joash sounds like a good guy. He's doing what is pleasing to the Lord. That's what it says. But that's only throughout the lifetime of Jehoiada the priest. Please turn with me to 2 Chronicles 24:17 and 18. But after Jehoiada's death, the leaders of Judah came and bowed before King Joash and persuaded him to listen to their advice. They decided to abandon the temple of the Lord, the God of their ancestors, and they worshiped Asherah poles and idols instead. Because of this sin, divine anger fell on Judah and Jerusalem. So after Jehoiada dies, Joash, he doesn't do what he tells him anymore. He doesn't please the Lord because he doesn't have that good role model. He grew up with Zechariah, his cousin, the prophet that would later try to save Joash. Zechariah tried to have Joash come back to God, but by the time that Zechariah tried to convince Joash he was wrong, the princes of Judah had already got to Joash, and they killed Zechariah. The leaders of Judah were plotting to kill Joash's cousin, and he didn't stop them. He ordered them to do it. He ordered them to stone Zechariah. After everything Jehoiada did for his nephew, Joash killed his son. There are a lot of bad role models currently in the world. One of the best players in the NBA, John Morant, shows off Glocks in strip clubs, and Zion Williamson has multiple intimate relationships with adult film stars. Musicians and rappers can be even worse. They show girls half naked in music videos. And there are many rappers like Snoop Dogg and many, many others that are very open about drugs and even promote them. I have bad role models too. Friends at school, celebrities, and even teachers. Friends that allowed me to say things I shouldn't and even encouraged it. Teachers that made me hate school, not because of homework or tests, but just because they were horrible people. And celebrities that make sin look cool and fun. But I have good role models too, like my grandparents, my parents, my cousin, my best friend, and so many more I wish I had time to mention. Please turn to 2 Chronicles 24:20 and 22. Then the Spirit of God came upon Zechariah, son of Jehoiada the priest. He stood before the people and said, "This is what God says. Why do you disobey the Lord's commands and keep yourselves from prospering? You have abandoned the Lord, and now he has abandoned you." Then the leaders plotted to kill Zechariah. The king Joash ordered that they stone him to death in the courtyard of the Lord's temple. That was how King Joash repaid Jehoiada for his loyalty, by killing his son. Zechariah's last words as he died were, "May the Lord see what they are doing and avenge my death." Even though Joash was praising something that wasn't there, he was praising nothing instead of the Lord. Joash was actually praising a big wooden stick instead of the Lord. Zechariah was somebody close to Joash, and he still didn't listen. He was like a brother to Joash. He was raised by Jehoiada, his uncle, and that means Zechariah was basically his brother. If it was me personally, God sent one of my close friends, and I still didn't listen, I'd be crazy. If one of my close friends came up to me and said, "Stop doing that," and I didn't listen, something must have been wrong. You can learn from Joash. If somebody tells you not to do something you are already uncertain of, consider it might be God trying to send you a message through your role model. Now, I'm not saying listen to everybody. There are bad people, as I've already talked about. Don't listen to somebody just because they show up on your phone saying that you need to do something. There are people trying to influence you all the time to do bad things. But that's why you need to surround yourself with good people. Good people that will show you what's right. God will send good people if you veer off the righteous path. Just as Joash had Zechariah, you will have somebody in your life. If you don't see any role models in your life, look harder. There should be somebody around you. And if you still don't see any, leave. Get out of that situation. Get out of that friend group and find a good role model. Try and go out. Go be friends with somebody you haven't talked to before. I want to challenge you today to find a good role model. If you have one in mind, I want you to really think if that's who you should be acting like. If that's who God wants you to be like. Are they acting like God? I also want you to think of others. You need to be a good role model. You probably have a little brother, maybe a cousin that looks up to you. You can be a role model too. So, just think about all the people looking up to you. Try and be a good role model, and think about your own role models. That's it.